Okay. This is another episode of Double Dunn's Garage. We are going to do vehicle inspection today. What do we mean by that? That means we're going to check fluids, going to check turn signals, and all the lights, and check tires. I don't mean check tires as in air pressure gauges. You can do that. I just usually use a heavy crowbar to just check them with a big truck like this. They're 1-ton vehicles, something like that. You kind of do it the old trucker way as opposed to the gauge check way. Maybe it's not your way, but it's an easy way to get past that. You can use it on any vehicle like that or like this car. If you bounce your crowbar off of it, it bounces real easy. It's probably pretty good air pressure in there. All right, so we're going to have Dwight over here.
Hey, folks.
We're going to have him check the fluids for us. So the first thing we're going to do...
This is my truck, by the way.
Yeah, this is Dwight's truck. The first thing we're going to do is you want the vehicle cooled off, and you don't want any pressure in the cooling system, because we're going to check that. And we also want to cool up because we want all the oils and fluids to be down in the bottom of the vehicle. We are going to have to start this, since it's an automatic, for the purposes of checking the training fluid. Otherwise than that, everything else is typically checked while it's cool off. So first thing we're going to do is have him check the oil. So he's going to show us. Yep, you do. Yep, you're the worker bee here. Okay. So on this vehicle, the oil is right there, and so what you do is first he's going to clean off the stick. Okay, and then put it back in. And then you can see the fill marks. This is probably kind of hard to see on here because it's glaring pretty bad. But there is a fill mark that says you have to keep it within these arrows of level. Now, this is an older car, take it, but it's kind of the same for almost all vehicles. It's a pretty standard thing. So it puts it all the way back in, holds it for a second, pulls it back out. Okay, so we can tell that he is kind of low on oil here. I'm trying to look at this through the thing.
Definitely low.
Yeah, he needs a little bit of oil, so we're going to put some oil in. That's our very first thing we're going to do. Again, you want to check this when the car's cold, and all the oil's down. If it's hot, all the oil will be at the top of the engine. It'll give you an inaccurate reading. His oil did look pretty clean. We're okay with that, but he needs oil. So, okay, here's the funnel. A lot of cars will have this standard thing where there's a little cap that you pull off, as you just noticed him do, and you put a funnel in it.
This is not enough oil, I'll tell you.
Yeah, we got to go to get some oil for it. But it'll give it up to about middle of the thing. Yeah. So we'll be okay, put it that way.
Yeah, it needs oil.
And then you simply... your vehicle will have different types of oil, obviously. Like I said, just a very general inspection. You have to read in your manual what type of oil. We just use 10W30, 10W40 in here. This is an older engine. You want a little bit heavier oil. We've just used 10W40 all the way through the years. 10W30 is a little bit lighter.
I highly doubt this is moved at all. That.
It'll take a little bit of time for it to get up the stick. Yep.
Boy, I'm short on oil. I need to go buy a couple course.
Yeah. So
I'll have to do that tonight.
As it drains, we know that's a quart, so we got it up on the stick. We know it'll be up on the stick by the time he's done. Well, by the time it's finished draining. Because basically, it's really hard to see in the camera. But that little line, there's a line with an arrow up and an arrow down. And it's got a little bit, like, cross-hatching in it. And it says fill area. Well, that fill area is 1 quart. So if you keep it within that fill area, you will be safe. You don't want to go under the fill area. You don't want to go above the fill area. Okay, so next, we're going to check the radiator fluid. So he's going to check the pressure on the cooling system. We've already pre-checked this ourselves, but you want to check this to make sure that's very squeezable. Then he's going to pop those.
If you have the old cap that doesn't have the pressure relief valve, and you take it off when it's hot, be very damn careful, because you will get scalded with this stuff.
Now, this is for older rigs. Some newer rigs have like a overflow or a coolant thing similar to that you check the pressure, check the fluid level through.
Let's see if she's getting pressure.
But this is an older rig.
Nope.
Okay, no pressure. Again, the truck's been sitting for about an hour and a half.
Hear that?
I believe we did hear pressure, actually. But that's all right. It's just, residual pressure.
That's actually good for the system.
Yeah. Okay.
How
So,
low is that?
when we look through here, it looks like he's okay. Probably just top it off.
Top it off?
Now, your fluid might be orange.
Oh, wow.
In this case, it's green, and it looks clean.
Wow.
Now, if your fluid has any white in it, any milkiness, you have a problem.
Yeah.
Any brown in it, really brown, nasty, dirty, you might not have a problem. You want to change it, definitely. So we're putting green fluid in, since this is they just come with green fluid to begin with. There's orange fluid out there in the market for vehicles, stuff like that. Okay, what we see him doing right now is purging it, kind of taking the bubbles out by squeezing the hose. And that drops the fluid down, so it gives him a more accurate reading of how much more he has to put in there.
That should do it.
Which is cool. All right, so we see it's right up to par on there. And again, we're squeezing it a little bit. Now, don't want to get this around the dogs, obviously. So, we don't want to squeeze that too much, otherwise it'll spill.
Yeah, I want to say something. If you're in a cold climate, don't use this plain water like a lot of people do.
Yep. Isn't this, what is this, 50-50?
Yeah, this is 50-50.
Okay.
There's pure antifreeze, there's 50-50, and then there's people that use just plain water in there. You'll crack a block in a heartbeat. Our dad's done it. Our dad did it more than once.
Yeah,
when we lived back in Minnesota.
It's called antifreeze. There's a reason it's called antifreeze.
Yeah.
Because it keeps from freezing. This stuff is freeze-proof. Probably not past, below 80 or something. I don't know. Who knows? It says it on the thing. But anyway, it's 50-50. You can use any brand you want. I've never really cared what brand of antifreeze. Cheapest is the best. Seriously, it works really good. 5-year, 150,000 miles. You keep away from dogs, obviously. If you spilled on the ground, probably a good thing is to rinse it out, dilute it with water. So, he left us. He had to go get a screwdriver, apparently. I think his next goal is to check the brake fluid, is going to be our next thing. So, what do we mean by checking fluids? Obviously coolant, we first checked, or oil. We'll check the oil first, coolant second, brake fluid, tranny fluid, power steering fluid. Those are the main major fluids that are checked in older cars, newer cars, period. It doesn't really matter. Now, obviously, power steering would be if a car has an optional manual steering instead. Transmission would be automatic only. You can only check it up here. If it's a manual, you have to check it underneath the truck. Typically, manual transmissions are rarely, ever checked. All right.
There's the power steering fluid.
Okay.
And it looks good, too. So.
Okay. This would be checked typically running and warm. Yeah. So we might recheck it again when we get it started up. Okay? All right. So this is old school. Doesn't have a cap system. Usually the newer cars have a little pop cap. We have to check these with a screwdriver.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. It looks like he needs a little bit in the front. The rear is plenty full. So, what I mean by that, I'm sorry, the rear is empty a little bit. The front is plenty full. My bad. The fronts have more fluid in them, which is actually the rear pocket on this.
Yeah, this operates your front brakes. This here operates your front. This operates your rear.
Yeah.
You have the bigger one in the this bigger one is for the front, so that because all your braking power is on your front.
Yep. Okay, great. Now, other cars, such as my truck, only have one reservoir for both. So, newer cars, that's a different thing. So, we filled up the rear brake reservoir,
yeah,
which means...
I think I got a leaking rear wheel cylinder.
Okay.
Well, we'll do that later this summer. I'm going to pull the rear axle apart and change the rear diff and check the brakes and stuff out. We'll do a video setup on that. I think I got a rear wheel cylinder slightly leaking.
Okay. So now he has to pull the screwdriver and pop it back the other way. And it has to go in this groove. If you see where he put it in, there's little grooves all the way along that. And he also adjusts the cap a little bit so it doesn't leak. He wants to keep that cap centered on there and make sure that little spring-looking tensioner is in the groove. All right. Next, I believe we'll probably start up the truck and check the tranny fluid. Check the tranny fluid and check the power steering.
Okay.
All right, so be patient here a little bit. Okay, so we're a cold truck. So it's definitely a little cold. She'll probably be fine. If you do this, definitely do what he did. Roll down the window. So you don't want to be locking yourself out of your truck. This does have automatic door locks. And he's going to put it in neutral and put the emergency brake on. Why? Because if you're older automatic vehicles, you want it in neutral. And now he's running it through the gears to check the tranny flow. What do you mean by running through the gears? Every single gear, reverse, neutral, drive, 1 and 2, low gears. Do it twice, maybe 3 times. What that does is it gets the tranny fluid running through the engine.
And don't go whipping through it like some people do. Take it nice and easy.
Yep.
You see some people. Don't.
Now, older cars, Chryslers, you want to check them in neutral. It says right on the stick. This one is a park check. So you check it in park and engine hot. It'll be okay. We can. Now, if you're just going to start your car for today, you probably just want to put it in neutral and leave it there. Let it warm up in neutral. If you're checking your fluids, you want to do as follows in park. Give me a little loud here.
Here's power steering right here. Transmission fluid.
Transmission's all the way back there in this one. That's a pretty common spot for these guys. So yeah, he's going to wipe the dipstick off. It's really hard to see in this light. Oops, sorry.
So, yeah, let's put it in and see.
Yep.
It'll probably show there with the fluid on there.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it shows a little bit of fluid on there because it's clean.
Yeah, it's really clean. It's very clean.
In fact, it doesn't need any. It's right up.
Yeah,
there.
it's right up. I can see it right up to my mark right there.
Yep.
So in the camera, that's really hard to see. Sorry about the light again, but there's a crosshatching here. And it says fill, and it says in between these crosshatching. Below the crosshatching, you want to fill. Below in between the line and the crosshatching, you want to keep it measured. He is right up to the top of the fill marks and the crosshatching. He's fine. So we're good to go. Width control, yeah.
Yeah, you can see you see the fluid there.
It's getting time for a change.
It's time for a change. It's just.
But it's still pink and it's still clean.
I'm not worried about
it could go a lot longer.
It'll go until springtime.
Yeah.
I've got everything to change it. That's another video we'll do. Is I've got
change the
transmission filters, gaskets, and all that stuff.
Okay.
That's to change it. So.
That's a good video to do. Yeah.
And I'll try to do it without making a hell of a mess. Like I did last time.
Alright, and he's going to check the power steering real quick since it's running. This will be, there's two settings on the power steering on these cars. There's a cold check and there's a hot check. We're going to do a cold check. So it's really, again, really hard to do.
Yeah, the line is right there.
Okay, I can see it through there.
The line is right there.
Yep.
It's good, so let's see. Yeah, see, it's right there.
Okay, I can see it straight through the camera. He's good to go.
And I don't know, I'm still broken on this power steering reservoir thing, man. I'm not sure about this one. I hate this. I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah, this has a reservoir in it. It isn't like other cars where the power steering is right on the bottom. It's like a newer car where there's a reservoir.
We had to hand make a bracket when I replaced the water pump and the timing chain. After that, I got the truck. We had to put a new bracket system on here,
and
it still shakes a little. I think this summer we gotta put a cross triangle shape.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the reason we did that, this is an AC truck, air conditioned. We deleted the air conditioning out of it. So we had to fab up a new bracket to put the power steering reservoir in there.
I mean, I guess it's okay. I was so used to some of the other trucks we had where this is right on the pump.
Yep.
You know, but I'm not saying nothing bad about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Seems to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've checked all the fluids on the truck. Next thing we're going to do, we are going to check our lights. Okay. So let's go ahead and shut the truck off. Maybe we haven't covered when you should do this. Personally, we do this once a week. Okay? Sounds good, doesn't it? This stock dual exhaust. Sounds pretty good.
And the oil, it doesn't go through that much oil in 1 week.
Yeah.
With the snowstorms we had, we just haven't had a chance to change it.
Yeah.
It's been almost a month.
Okay.
So it's gone through just that bit in a month. So it doesn't burn a lot of oil. It's an old engine. It's going to get gone through this summer.
Okay, so what do we do for lights? We check brake lights, we check turn signals, and we check all our marker lights and our headlights. So first, let's go up front. We are going to check the headlights. Okay, we got proper working low beams, proper working high beams. Okay, they worked fine. Okay, then I see the marker lights in the front are working. Wander around here. This has multiple marker lights. Two side ones on the rear fenders. And then we come back to the rear. Excuse me here. I don't want to fall on my butt. And we see the tail lights. And there's a side marker on the dually fender there. And then also noticing we have our license plate lights. Those have to be working. Then we come back over here. And we see the rear side markers and the dually fender light. And back up front side marker light. Okay, so now we are going to check turn signals. So, and he has also running lights up above there too. So, he's got a bunch of lights on this truck. Pretty cool. All right, so we see up here. Okay. We see a front turn signal light here. Okay, and we can see from here. Turn signal working back there. Okay, we're going to go to the next thing. Okay, turn signal working over there. Go up front here. Turn signal working there. Okay, then we're going to check the hazards. Okay, we see them working up here. Going to go in the back. That one's working. Okay, and now we're going to check the brake lights. Okay, looks like they work. Work well. All right, and now let's check the backup lights. Okay, all right. So we have every single light working on this truck and working correctly, minus these lights, which are not necessary for vehicle operation, but we're going to get them working eventually anyway. Alright, so we have the lights working in the car. Next, we're going to check. He has his lights still on, but that's alright. Next, we're going to check the tire pressure. Now, we got our tire iron over here. On the trash can, sorry. Probably should bring it over to the car. My very dirty car. I am so sorry. That thing is an absolute mess. It sat all the way through the snow in a pretty harsh winter. Alright, back to this, sorry. Alright, so on an older 110 truck, you just bounce that off there. And he can hear the tone in the tire. The iron bounces back off of the tire. That one, it's moderate. It's all right. Yeah, you can hear the different tone there. That one sounds good. I think we're okay there. Yep. That's the way it's supposed to sound. The tire iron's going to bounce back off of it. So, we check the tire pressure. Now, normally you check the tire pressure with the tire pressure gauge. Not really necessary in this truck. Really, you know. You got anything to say in conclusion?
No. I try to do this at least once a week. I haven't done it the last couple weeks because we had snow and stuff, but now that it's cleared up, I gotta go buy some oil and put it into it. I didn't realize the poor thing was that low.
Alright, well, we learn lessons. Alright, so what this boils right down to, you know, this is our weekly inspection, what we do. It's done on that truck, it's done on this vehicle. Unless, obviously, we have severe weather, like you said, and he literally almost slipped on his butt. Okay, so, in conclusion,
that is what you do to just do general maintenance, just check the fluids and stuff. And there's a lot of people that don't do this. Yep. And it's very simple. It just takes a few minutes each week, once a week. You know, I mean, if you want to do it once a week, do it once a week. If you want to do it every other week, you know, at very minimal, it needs to be done twice a month.
Okay.
Just to check it. And it doesn't take but 5, 10, 15 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
So
it's good. It's good. You know, again, right there, we notice that his oil's down. If he doesn't check that, and your oil's low for any reason, you have a leak you didn't know of, you could ruin an engine. Coolant, that's got to be up. Brake fluid, obviously, as a bib, very important to safety. And same with tranny fluid. You don't have that up, you don't have that changed, it's gonna ruin a transmission.
Yeah, and when it comes to fluids, there's different types of fluids. Like for the brake fluids, there's DOT 4 and DOT 3. Some are for the Fords, some are for the Chevys. There's certain import, and that's same with the transmission. There's a Type F transmission. There's a generic ATF transmission. Then you got
Dextrons,
and stuff like that. And the antifreezes, you got your pure antifreeze, your 50/50, and you got your specialty antifreezes and stuff. So if you're not sure what you have, look at your owner manuals or go to one of the auto parts shops in your town and talk to them and see what it does. This one's old enough. I just use, like, for the oil, I use 1040. Antifreeze I use, for the oil I use 1040. For the antifreeze I use 50/50. For the brake fluid, I use Doc 4, and the transmission fluid, I just
Dextron 3.
Just Dextron 3 for it. I mean, it's no big deal.
Nothing special.
And stuff, and the power steering fluids, I just use a pretty decent generic brand and stuff like that.
Realistically, this truck is very forgiving as far as that stuff goes. You know, other cars are very specific.
Rig, so.
Yeah. So, all right. So, in conclusion, this is something that we really should be checking. Like, you know, again, we do this on a weekly basis, on a weekly thing. Some people do it daily, like bus drivers, stuff like that. They don't check the fluids, but they check the lights daily. You know, and you know, but you really need to keep your car up. You really need to keep it scheduled maintenance. You know, change your fluids when needed. Some newer cars never have to change an automatic tranny fluid ever again. You know, it's and some newer cars do 5,000 miles on the oil. These guys are 3,000 miles on oil. Coolant, we just read it 5 years, 150,000 miles. We would definitely do that more than that. You know, probably once a year on our coolant. And on the tranny fluid, probably yearly, but once a year. We'd like to do it every 6 months, but once a year, it's still pretty good.
Rear differential, something the fluid, you know, you can do every couple of years.
Those are every couple of years,
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be done on this one. I haven't done it since I owned the truck, and I've owned it 2 years, so it's past time.
Yep.
So, but it's going to get done. Like I said, that's going to be a video in its end. When I do that, I'm going to pull the axle shafts and check the brakes and see which one.
Okay, so in turn, that's pretty much how this all works. That's what you want to do. And that's us for Dunn's Double Garage. Thanks, guys.
Hey.
See you later.